I've had a few agents ask me to get you back on, requested it. So back by popular demand, we got you back on the call. First of all, I need to know because I hear some people refer to your last name as Coombs and others refer to you as Combs. So what's the
Oh,
correct pronunciation of your name?
it's Combs.
It's Combs. All right.
Yeah.
So
People have
get it right,
not.
guys.
I feel like I've been lied to my whole life.
I correct it every time. It's Gabe. Gabe always says Coombs. He doesn't get it.
Oh, so Gabe's the culprit.
It's Gabe.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. All right. Well, to kick things off, I think at this point everybody knows who you are, but I want to give you this opportunity to brag on your numbers. How much life insurance did you write this past year?
24, I did about 710.
710. Is she paid?
Yeah, of
Let's go. Nice work. So you wrote a boatload of insurance.
course. Had to.
Bro, you were this close to breaking my record, dog. You were
I
this
know, bro.
close.
I know. I
Ah,
said a million. Said a million, but I really tried to get more into the team building, a lot more than I have in
yeah,
these last 4 months. I really went down in production, but the team went up, so we won either way.
yeah, yeah. And when we were on the phone, you said your team is on track in a couple months. Your goal is you guys are looking at doing 500,000 a month.
Yeah, I'd say we're probably a good month and a half away from that, from what we're looking at.
Okay,
Month and a half, 2 months.
nice. So wrote a bunch of life insurance this past year, and then it sounds like the past 3 to 6 months has more so been transitioned to hiring, developing, recruiting, and growing the team.
Yeah.
Okay. This is, I think this is every manager's most common frustration and the most common question that I get asked. So I'm going to ask you is how are you managing writing personal business and also hiring, training, developing, recruiting a team, and everything else that comes along with that?
I mean, obviously it goes back to balance, figuring out your schedule. Everyone's schedule is going to have to be different because everyone's got different responsibilities. But I didn't perfect it. I've just done a really good job at figuring out how long it takes me to close, how long it takes me to do admin work, and how long it takes me to do team trainings, working one-on-ones. And I just schedule my week out. It's not just a day by day. You got to schedule your entire week. So Sunday to Saturday. So I've just done I'd say a fairly good job of blocking out specific times on my calendar. And if it's not on my calendar, I don't do it. So I tell my agents all the time, they've got access to my calendar. So when it comes to team stuff, admin stuff, they gotta book it. Um, so that's how I'm giving myself the opportunity to stay balanced because I know the moment that my schedule is not on point, and if it's not on my calendar, I'm gonna lose track.
Okay. How do you have your calendar scheduled? What days and times are you doing certain things?
I do most of my admin work from 8 to 10. I don't think I'll give a little tip here. I don't think anyone needs to stay on the phone for hours every day with carriers. I have not called a carrier in forever. So that's definitely helped a ton. But admin work, little things that need to be done with contracting, that's 8 to 10. And then I'd say from 10 to 2, that's when I'm helping a lot with team training, one-on-ones. And then I'm doing primarily any kind of selling from 2 on. But again, with doing one call closes, it gives me that opportunity to be a lot more flexible in a schedule. So I'm not having to have, appointments on my calendar all day. Just kind of hit my goal for the day and then go right back to doing team stuff.
Got it. Okay. How much are you writing a week currently?
I've been averaging the last 2 months about 25 a week, 35 a week, 25 to 35.
35,000.
Yeah, this week I should hit about 35, but I've been averaging 25 to 30
How many hours are you say would you run it? Your work focus on running business per week?
per week. I don't have the hours. I mean, per day, it's probably 4 hours. It's not very long.
Not very long. But you've been doing it for so long and you've been so consistent with it where it's I mean at this point you can probably just hop on the phones and close and it really doesn't take you that long to write that amount of business because you have it on lock and you've
Exactly.
mastered it
Yeah,
to put
no,
it simply.
yeah, I think sometimes people get this common misconception of, oh, he's only been doing it a short time. I've been doing this, guys. I'm coming up on 4 years. It,
Yeah.
it just came here on year three and a half to finally get to the point where I can close, what I need to in 3, 4, 5 hours. So it took a while to get there, but eventually you get there.
Yeah. Yeah. And when I was transitioning out of when I was transitioning out of the field and focusing more on team growth, it would go, I'd spend 1 day recruiting, the rest of the week writing business, and then it'd go to like, and then 1 day recruiting and then training agents, and then, like slowly tailoring it back over the course of 6, 9 months until it got to the point where I would only run business on Saturdays. And my Saturdays were intentionally packed. It's like I would be in the office I'd get in the office at 7 a.m. on a Saturday. A lot of times I wouldn't leave till 5, 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night. Um, but in that Saturday, I would throw down consistently between 10 to 20 grand every Saturday. And just like, dude, like I'm not even writing 10 grand a week. Like, how are you doing that? That's amazing. I'm just like, dog, I've been doing this for so long that
Yep.
it's once you get it to a certain point and you've heard the saying it takes 10,000 hours to master something. Like I've actually done the math, and once I hit about 10,000 hours, like that's really when it clicked.
And you're also being intentional. You're not just
Yep.
showing up acting like you've got 8 appointments and 4 of them, are solid and the other 5 suck. No, like you're intentional with the quality, but also the amount that you've got. So, and it takes a while,
Yep.
I think, to get to the point where you're super intentional. You got to be intentional at every little thing throughout your day. Otherwise, you will fall off schedule and something's going to crumble.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. And also, I had a dialer. It's not like I'm sitting in there and Saturday dialing the phones myself, writing 10, 20 grand. Like I would go in there and I would have a full day of appointments already booked, 24 appointments. And exactly what you said, like my head, I'd just put my head, same as you, just head down, focused, intentional work. Like I wouldn't leave my office. I wouldn't look up. I would barely go to the bathroom and get a drink of water. I barely had time for that. And so that's really like that's really the energy and the mentality you need to have. And so how many let me ask you, do you have a dialer? I believe you do, right?
I've got one now. I got one like 3, 4 weeks ago. I'm always
Okay.
on how I feel about it. I think if you got a good dialer, stick with it. For me, I'm just much better with the one call close. I want to
Yeah.
get it done. I don't want to do follow ups. I don't want to talk to the person again until their birthday. So I've got a dialer, but it's just really on weeks that I'm not able to dial as much. I'm pushing them to get me the appointments I need.
Gotcha. Don't you have VAs though that book that textbook appointments for you?
We did. We stopped that once the whole TCPA stuff came out, but we're probably going to get back to it at some point.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. Well, I can speak for myself where, when I was cranking out monster months, 80, 100K month consistently, I was definitely not dialing the phones myself because there's
Yeah.
only so many hours in a day. So just like what you said, is be careful with the dialer because you need to have the right dialer and it takes a while to train a dialer. But a dialer for me was huge. I mean, I know Jake, he's coming off of a monster month. Jake had a dialer. We were just on the manager call this morning. Buck was really harping on the importance of having dialers. I think, Buck, do you have one or two? One. Yeah. Um, but that's another helpful tool as well to leverage into your business and put in your arsenal.
Yeah, it's a matter of delegating. I think if
Yep.
you're not going to stick with doing one call close, I think you need a dialer. I tell anyone, most of my team, I say once you're at a point where you're consistently throwing up numbers, that tells me you can close. Now you don't need to waste your time writing business or dialing people all day. If you're dialing all day, you're not writing as much business as you could, and you're not working on a team as much as you could. So people just got to learn to delegate. Can't do everything yourself.
You're never going to grow a big business being a one-man show. So let me ask you this, Caleb. Looking back on this past year, what would you say are you obviously had a very good and successful year, but what are some things that you would have done differently if you could redo this year, or maybe some things that just being vulnerable, maybe you messed up on?
I think team wise, that's probably where a lot of the work I would, things I would change. I've known guys how to grow a team for the last 3 years, 3.5 years. And I always compare. This is a lot of people say comparisons are Robert Joy, which is true. I think it's also a good kick in the butt sometimes. And I tell Jonah,
100%.
you know, Jonah, Mindy, myself, all of us started, in a similar way. And I remember at one point we all had very similar numbers. And then Mindy skyrocketed, you skyrocketed, and then I'm just like still here. And I remember telling him, I was like, something's up. I don't know what it is. And he would nitpick and he would tell me little things. And it's not a matter of me not changing. It was I focused on one thing and I didn't balance out the schedule of trying to grow a team. I've never been the guy who's going to blame the issue on other people, so I always accepted it, but it was a matter of trying to fix it harder than I actually was. And so this year, I really, it was a good kick in the butt in the idea of build the team the right way. And I remember he said something to me. He said, it's very rare you're going to find someone who can write a lot of business and can grow a team at the same time. I know I can write a lot of business and I know I can grow a team. And he wasn't saying, oh, you can't do it. Uh, but I took it as a little motivation to do both. And I figured that I just needed to fix myself rather than trying to focus on one thing. And so that's just where schedule came in. I think I would have worked a little better on my schedule. And if I did that, I mean, we'd be at probably 5, 6, 700,000 a month if I started that at the beginning of the year. But we just really started pushing, I'd say back in November. So within the last 3 or 4 months, I've seen what is possible when you focus on change, not just the idea of being stagnant. So, and again, I told you on the phone. I mean, I think when I told you we were moving, you were like, bro, you got to get people to an office. And I've always
Yes.
been in an area where there was no one else in Pinnacle. I didn't work with anyone. And I came here and I just stopped giving people the option. And now I've got, 8, 9, 10 guys here. And they went from 2K a week to all of them are doing 5 to 10K every single week. So that's changed a lot. So I think if I had to pick one thing to change, I would say I should have just done everything when it comes to actively growing the team a whole lot earlier. I waited too long.
Yeah. Open an office and make people move to you.
Yep.
100%.
Works.
And I mean, I can tell you this from being someone else that's produced a decent amount is like having that under your arsenal of just that much production like that helps you tremendously for building a team because that gives like you know how to write business on a high level and that like that skill set never goes away. So the fact that you've produced that much within a calendar year is, dude, that's just gonna like once you really hammer down on recruiting and growing, that's just gonna skyrocket your growth.
Yep.
And the part a lot of you guys have heard this before, but genuinely, it's like, dude, that first 150, 200K, me and Claudia were stuck there for so long. And it's like you gain some momentum, you gain some traction, like you finally hit 200, then you go backwards and you grow a little bit, go backwards, grow a little bit, and then once you have that solid base and you're consistently doing 200, 250, it's like then 250 turns to 400, 400 turns to 600, 800. Before you know it, you're at 1 million, and then it really starts compounding and growing upon itself.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's the idea. I say it all the time. Shepherds got to smell like the sheep. I think something you did really well. And I remember people saying it. You would just, even now, you make a post where you're going to jump in and you do a quick call. When they not only know that you can do it, but they can see it, that's sometimes the best training they're ever going to get. And I told the guys when they came, I was like, look, I'll spend one-on-one time with you, but you're going to learn from watching. And we just work in this conference room with 8 to 10 of us, and that's how they picked it up. So I tell you guys, don't under, I don't know what the word is, I guess, appreciate the idea that you can actually show them, not only tell them. So be an example because the shepherd has to smell like the sheep. Can't expect them to do it if you won't.
Yeah, and it's a different skill set to have too, where it's one thing to just like put your head down and crank out some production, but it's another thing to teach others on how to do that.
Yeah.
And for me, like it took a lot of patience. Like it took me just really having to slow down and have the patience to like just really be there for the agent, explain things multiple times and everything else. So it's a different skill set. It's a different skill set you have to use.
Absolutely.
But that's what's up, man. So what are some of your goals for this next year with your business?
We've got a lot of short term and long term. Short term goal was one, get at 500,000, half a mil by April. So we're definitely on track for that. It's crazy because it's like once the wheels start moving, they really start moving if you keep up with it. So I'd say we could be a lot farther than 500 by April. I would like to end the year with 10 million under our belt, which I think, again, 100%
You
possible.
guys can do that.
100% possible. We're on track with the way we're growing. I'd say on a personal production, I'm going to keep shooting for that million until it happens. I could care less if it happens if the team is growing. But I'm definitely shooting for it. I'm on track for it. So we'll that's goal for personal production, team production as well. I'm looking to hire a ton of people, but again, high quality. So I'm not, I think I'm pulling after a little bit from you and Mindy. I've seen, and the guys that take examples from different people. I think, Johnny, you've done a great job with recruiting, and there's a ton of people who do, high quality business. And again, with Mindy, you got a bunch of people who are doing 20, 30, 40, 50,000 a month. So we're trying to pull from both directions. So I'm bringing people on, but I want them 20, 30,000 a month. So goals to have, we've got about 75 right now. Goal is to have closer to 200 active writers by the end of the year.
Nice. That's a solid goal. Where are you finding the majority of your recruits from?
A few different places. I'm ripping apart an IMO right now, and then hiring. So I think something that I probably could have worked on a lot better was pushing current agents to recruit and don't wait. And this is something that everyone's got a different opinion on. If you don't necessarily know how to train, I understand the aspect of, oh, I don't want to hire you yet. I don't know how to teach them. But that's what we're here for. We're here to help guide them while we're guiding you. And I think an individual who's a leader should be able to multitask and do both. So I've told all my guys, I'm like, look, you've got to recruit. You've got to bring at least 3 people into the business. And
Yes.
so
Yes.
each person's bringing in 3 people. I mean, I've got 8 guys with me. Yesterday we were at dinner with Joe. I think each one of them has recruited 3 people in the last week. So I'm
Day
pushing.
one. So like they're immediately hired. As soon as they're hired, they're immediately bringing in 3 more people.
Yeah, and I'm incentivizing. I'm saying, look, you bring in 3 people with you, we will give you your course for free. So they don't have to pay for their insurance exam or their insurance course. And again, incentivize in different ways. Obviously, Pinnacle offers it. Most places don't. So we're giving them the incentive of, hey, you give us 3 people that you think would be interested. I'll help reach out to them. We'll get them on board, and you're not going to have to spend your $299 for a course. So we're incentivizing with them with that and the summit. And that's helping a ton.
Nice. Yeah, that's solid. That's solid. And just like you said, is agents that are brand new, if they don't know how to write insurance or whatever the case may be, leveraging the system, leveraging the trainings you already have in place, leveraging your mentors.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't have to be all on you. And for one of my big, like, people ask me, what's your biggest regret? My biggest regret is waiting too long to hire. I think it was honestly an ego thing for me, wanting to have it all figured out. And it was funny because, like, in my mind, I'm like, oh, well, that'll take away from my personal production or whatever, da da da. But it actually helped my personal production. And because when I started hiring and recruiting, well, now these people are looking up to you. So now it's not a question of, oh, do I feel like showing up today or not? I'm forced to show up because now I'm responsible for these people and I'm responsible for their success. And they're looking up to me, and I need to set the right example for my agents.
Yeah. And I think it's funny you said that. I think the thing that really stopped me was the idea of the unknown, right? I know how to train, I know how to produce. We know the stuff, but it's now the idea of, look, you're responsible if they don't make money. Because if you can't train them the right way, you're screwing them over. So I think for me, it was like, look, I want to perfect the training before I ever try to train. And then end all result, guys, is no one's going to be perfect at training. It's just, like I said, shepherds got to smell like the sheep. If I can do it, I just have to show them how to do it and be consistent with it. And that was really what was holding me back. And then finally, when I let that go, I realized, like, dang, this is not that hard.
Yeah, absolutely. Caleb, you want to do some rapid fire objection handling?
Let's do it.
Let's do it, bro. It's been a while since we've done this on a team call, so you're good at it. Is this Caleb, is this required?
No, man. I mean, everyone needs mortgage protection. There's 3 coverages we expect you to have. PMI covers a lender, homeowners covers disasters, your mortgage protection is your liability coverage. So, John, I mean, if something happens and you can't make a payment on the house, the bank's fine. I mean, they can take it, but we want to make sure that you get your house and your income and you don't lose anything. So, yeah, I mean, everybody needs to have mortgage protection.
Okay. We had somebody call us a few days ago, actually, and we just got that taken care of.
Yeah, I don't see anything here. That's what I'm confused about. Usually we get like some kind of update in the system. I see nothing. So let me figure that out with you. What is the name of the carrier we set you up with?
I think it was American Income.
Interesting. You're healthy, right?
Yeah,
That is so weird, man. And how much are we charging you?
$130.
130. Okay. And do you remember how much coverage that's for?
I think it was for 100,000.
Yeah, man. I mean, something's not adding up here. Can you pull out your policy packer real quick? I need to just make sure everything's up to date. Make sure we didn't screw you over. We got a lot of different people who set up policies. We just want to make sure we set you up with the right one.
Okay. Well, I'm working right now. Can you call me with that later?
Yeah, I mean, what time are you off work?
5.
Okay, cool. What do you do for your job?
I'm a plumber.
Plumber. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I know that we've been talking for about 7 minutes now. It'll only take me like 5 more minutes to get this taken care of with you. Is there any way you can talk, or you're currently like on the site working?
Okay, I can do that. I can do 5 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, just pull out your packer real quick or your bank statements. It will kind of tell you a little bit of the information on the carrier and the cost, etc. And I go right into it.
Okay. I don't have the packet on me.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, you said it's with American Income, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and it's 100 grand for 130 a month.
Yep.
Okay, and
I
you're
think so. Yeah.
yeah, and then I just fill out the inventory. Just get the basic.
Okay. Got it. And then, guys, just so you know, a lot of times when you run into American Income life policies, it's just something to take note of. The way they sell it is they'll sell them 100,000 accidental, and it'll be it. But really, it's a $10,000 whole life with an accidental rider built onto it. So that's something to take note of. And the American Income whole life policies are the absolute most expensive out there, the most expensive policies I've ever seen. So anytime you run into American Income Life or any other carrier basically with an A, it's typically an easy replacement.
Yeah, love replacing those.
Yeah. Yeah, I just don't think I'm interested in this, Caleb.
That's
Thanks
fine.
for
I
the
mean,
call anyway.
yeah, I mean that's fine. I don't need to know if you're interested. I need to know if you got a packet in the mail because this is something we needed to set up. Obviously, you were called about this probably 6 months ago. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I told the last guy we're not interested either.
Okay. Is that because you don't think you're going to get approved, or you just don't have money?
I just don't think we need this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what they told you, man. Everybody needs this. I mean, you got PMI that covers the lender, homeowners covers your disasters. This covers your liability. So if you can't, afford the house because you have a medical condition, I mean, tell me this, John, if you get really sick and you're out of job, I'm assuming you got long-term and short-term, right?
Yep, I think so.
Okay. Um, are you going to hurt a little bit financially if you're not working and don't have an income?
Yeah, I mean, we'd figure it out.
You'll figure it out. I mean, are you going to lose your income if you lose your job?
Yes.
Okay. That's why you're going to get this set up because it's your liability coverage. So we do need to get something set up. It doesn't matter to me if you go with the silver plan, that's the smallest, but we do have to set something up. I mean, I'm not setting up for you. I'm setting up for your beneficiary. You can sleep on the streets, John. I mean, this is for your wife. We don't want her sleeping on the streets.
Oh, I love how just assumptive you are. You're just straight to the point. No
Yeah.
BS.
And it's also building the urgency, but I try not to be a jerk about it, but we'll laugh or whatnot, but also, like you said, being assumptive and just pushing them a little. It helps.
Yeah, that's so important. Just not being afraid to challenge clients. It's
Yeah.
okay to get uncomfortable. All right. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're telling me we filled this out a year ago. I don't remember doing that.
That's fine. No, I got your signature here, man. It doesn't really matter if you remember it or not. I just need to get this taken care of. Did you ever get your packet in the mail?
No,
Okay, so you probably didn't set it up then. Obviously, you know what the mortgage protection is, right?
no.
Okay. PMI covers lender, homeowners covers disaster. This covers your liability. You're married or single?
I'm married.
Married. Okay. So if something happens to you, Jonah, last thing we want is for, your wife to lose a house because you passed away. Right. I mean, is she working?
No, she stay at home.
Okay. So if you pass away, you got any kids?
Yes, I do.
Okay, cool. How old are they?
They're 7, 11, and 13.
Okay, nice. You got three. So if you pass tomorrow, I'm assuming some of them are in school. Is she going to have to probably get a job?
Yeah, but she's had a job before. She'd be okay.
Okay. She had a job before, she has a job now.
She's got a job before.
Okay. Um, obviously she's gonna have to pay for a nanny for the kids, right? If she's working, or would you
Mhm.
just let them all stay home alone?
No, we'd have to get a nanny.
Okay. Our goal is to make sure that your wife doesn't have to deal with all of the crap because you didn't protect it. So what we're gonna do is if you pass away, she's gonna get the house paid off. But if there's a medical condition, this is what's cool for you, John. It protects you. I mean, if you're out of a job, they're gonna literally pay off your home if it's a major medical condition. You're like 25 years old, so I would assume that it's more likely for you to have a medical condition before death. So that's where we're going to protect. You're going to get the death coverage. I can throw in some things like cash value and whatnot, but as long as you go with the minimum policy, we're good to go. I've got a silver, gold, and platinum, and then I just go right into it from there.
Um, yeah, I called my loan officer. My bank said to not get this. They said it's a scam.
Oh yeah, no, of course they did. They don't deal with any of that stuff since 2008, Jonah. I don't know if you know this. You're younger, but in 2008 there was a big market crash. Bunch of crap went down, and they basically filed where your mortgage protection is no longer taken care of through your lender. It used to be tied in with the loan. Now it's separate, which is cool for you because you have a little more control over your money. So they're going to take care of themselves. So that's what banks do. They cover their own butt, but they're not going to protect you. So they're going to do whatever they can to help you be protected because yeah, you don't want identity theft. But I work directly in the mortgage protection department licensed through the state of North Carolina. So I do have to get something taken care of with you, but I'll be your main point of contact. Your bank has nothing to do with this any longer.
Um, what company are you with?
Yeah, I'm actually licensed directly through the state of North Carolina. So when you took out that loan with Rocket Mortgage, they do all of your PMI and your homeowners, and I take care of the mortgage protection.
Money. Okay.
Hey guys,
Well,
that one specifically, I love to get that one because it's always funny because they don't ask again. I didn't even answer their question. I just avoided it. So that's probably the best response you can give to it. I don't want them asking anything else about it.
yeah, this is gold so far. Take take note of just how assumptive he is, how assumptive and how confident. He acknowledges their objection and then boom, retakes control of the conversation and moves right on. That's exactly how you guys have to be with these. Uh, hey, I'm busy. Can you call me later?
Yeah, what time are you off work?
5.
Okay, I'll call you later. I just with people who are if that's their instant objection, I just hang up and I'll call them later.
Gotcha.
I before I wouldn't have done that. I would have tried to push, but I realized I was losing people. If they really can't talk and that's the first objection they give, I'll just call them after 5.
Call my 5. Got it. Can you take me off your list?
Yeah, there's no list, man. I mean, you filled something out. Do you remember that?
No.
Okay. Well, you did. Did you get your policy pack in the mail?
We got a bunch of things in the mail. I got a bunch of mailers.
Okay. Are you paying for your insurance though? I guess that's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Okay. What company?
State Farm.
Okay. You sure that that's not your homeowners? Do you know what the mortgage protection is, Jonah?
No, I don't.
Okay. Your State Farm covers your home and probably any other rider that you associated with that policy. This is the coverage that protects your liability, so it's different. I don't believe we got it set up. I mean, you can triple check, but I mean, usually the stuff in my system is correct. So we do need to get something taken care of. Um, but yeah, man, I mean, you're not on a list. I just need to get the mortgage protection set up and then I'll close it up for you.
Yep. Boom. If they don't know if they have it or not, that means they don't have it. So get it set up for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, Caleb, I got scammed a while back and I don't get my banking information out over the phone.
Oh yeah, neither do I, man. I hate giving that kind of stuff out, but we do need it. So obviously, I called you for a reason. I don't just buy your number off of online. That's crazy. You sent in some information. I've got to get it taken care of with you. You gave me your social it ends in 6334. That's correct, right?
Yes.
Okay. You know, I hate to say this, man, but if I wanted your bank info and I really knew how to scam, I could grab it based off your social. I got your routing here listed as 12345. Go on with your account. And depending on
Funny.
the person you talk to, you can either make that kind of funny, make it a joke, or just be super serious, and it works.
Either way works. Oh, Gabe's got a good one. They don't want to give you they don't want to give you the policy information. So yeah. Yeah. Why do you need my policy information? I don't want to give that to you.
Yeah, man, because someone should have called you and taken care of it with you after you took out your loan with Rocket, and you said they did, correct?
Yes, they did.
Okay. I've got a bunch of info here, and if you're not comfortable giving it, that's fine. We can just send someone out to you. And that's not going to be fun because if they try to get you something to do it fully underwritten, it's going to be a lot more expensive. But it's likely you got scammed. I can send you any kind of licensing or identification if you need it, but it's going to probably be a waste of both of our time. But I do need to get this fixed. If you're fine with possibly getting scammed, then I'm just going to leave you alone. But I need your information. What company did we put you with?
If you're fine with possibly getting scammed, that's gold.
Build the doubt. Make them uncomfortable.
Build the doubt. Yeah, and I never said are you fine with possibly getting scammed, but that's my like when they say that, that's my tonality, my posture is like, okay, you didn't get anything in the mail? Okay, and you're paying how much? Okay, and who is the agent that helped you? Because I don't see anything on our end here. There's no note, so I just want to make sure that you were helped out here. And then yeah, just like if you have that doubt, that skepticism, it freaks them out a little bit, and you go into it from there. And you said I need to talk to my kids about if they think this is a good idea slash which option I want to go with.
Yeah, I mean that's understandable, Jonah. Do your kids live with you or do they live elsewhere?
They got their own home.
They got their own home. Okay, so it's just you in the house.
Yeah, but they help me make the financial decisions
Got it. Okay. They don't like go shopping with you or anything, right? Like you do all the grocery shopping, you pay the car insurance.
for the most part.
Okay. I hate saying this, Jonah, because I don't mean to be disrespectful, but your kids have absolutely nothing to do with this. They're the ones who we're protecting. I mean, I know that if I went, to my kids and I asked them if they think I should spend money, you know what they're going to tell me, Jonah? They're going to say no. And it's usually because we do live in a world where there are a lot of scams. But obviously, this is different. I do need to get this taken care of with you, regardless if you talk to your kids or not. If you want to talk to them, what we'll do is we'll set up the small plan, the silver, and then you can talk to them 6 to 12 months, go over the other options, and we can increase it as time goes on. But it really doesn't matter if you talk to your kids or not. I do need to set up a plan.
Nick's got a good one. Yeah, we have more than enough life insurance to cover the home.
Got it. Okay. You know what mortgage protection is, right, Jonah?
Yeah, it pays off my home if I die, right?
Yeah, but that's not the main point of it. You know what life insurance does, right?
Sure.
Okay, it covers you if you're dead. And you're 25?
Yep.
Okay. John, I don't think you're going to die anytime soon. I mean, you're 25 years old. You probably got another 50, 60 years. The goal of mortgage protection isn't just to cover your death, although they do give you that. That's like your life insurance rider. Sorry, you're going to hit the baby. But essentially, they've got the mortgage protections to cover your major medical. So if you have a big medical issue, Jonah, we're going to help you with the home. I mean, I'm not thinking about you dying tomorrow. I'm thinking about you making sure that you keep the house if you have a medical condition. That's usually leads to death. But on top of that, we give you things like cash value, your major medical benefits. Sometimes you can borrow money from it to take out a loan. A lot of people use it as an investment, but you do need something. So I actually can show you, we can probably merge them together, kind of like you do with your auto insurance. And what it's going to do is it's going to make it cheaper. It's going to make it, make a lot more sense for your beneficiary when they're trying to get a claim, but you're going to protect a lot more stuff. It's a no-brainer. I've not met many 25-year-olds who are ignorant to this and, completely disregard it because it's going to save you money. Now, what insurance do you have? And then I go right into their policies.
Almost make them feel dumb if they don't go with it. Yep. Let's say they have a big life insurance and it has full access to living benefits. They covers the home. What do you do then? They got a life insurance that they like go into how do you add on coverage? So let's say I had a life insurance policy I took out 5 years ago, can't replace it, and it also has living benefits. Where are you going in that situation?
If I can't replace it, I guess what I do first is I get their life insurance information, I get their financial inventory info, and you can usually figure out if it's replaceable or not. I mean, with all the carriers we have, I can replace almost anything. But if it doesn't put them in a better position, I just add on an extra policy. I say, look, life insurance is great. That's a great policy. I think you've got some good living benefits. Again, they don't always tell me that we have to merge them together. I think you're better off keeping that one for your life insurance and this one for your mortgage protection. It's just plain side. And to some people, I explain that it's the same thing. To others, it's still the same thing. I'm just telling them it would be good to have something that covers, their death and one for the medical.
100%. Yeah, guys, always spend their life insurance. So if they've got, let's say they're older, they got a $20,000 policy. Hey, John, I'm assuming that was to cover the final expenses. I'm assuming the reason you took this call was to cover the mortgage protect, or don't even say that. Is like, hey, I'm assuming that was to cover your final expenses. I'm nodding my head, and then just boom, move on and just spend it. If they're younger, they've got a life insurance policy that got 5 years ago. Again, you can't replace it. Yeah, John, I'm assuming it was like, let's say I'm making $100,000 a year, and it's a $300,000 policy. So it'd be like, perfect, John. I'm assuming that you put that in place to cover about 3 years of income replacement. God forbid something happens to you. And again, nodding your head, they say yes. Gotcha. Yeah, it's generally a good rule of thumb. Most of my clients typically have about 3 to 5 years of income replacement in addition to the mortgage protection, and then just move on and don't make it a big deal, or whatever the case may be. Or like I've even had clients where I've sold them debt consolidation policies. Like somebody just helped them, couldn't beat it, debt consolidation policy. But like Caleb said, like we have so many carriers here at Pinnacle. That's rare. 9 times out of 10, you can typically beat their coverage and get them a better option.
Yeah.
Ooh, Butcher's got a good one. Hey, Caleb, yeah, I really need to pray on this and get back to you.
Yeah, no, that's understandable. I pray about a ton of things, Jonah. What do you pray for specifically? That God tells you to buy it or that it's a good price? What specifically do you have to pray for?
Just to make sure this is a good financial decision for me and my family.
Okay. Yeah, man, I mean, that makes sense. You guys have a budget?
Yeah.
Okay. That I in a respectful way, because I mean I pray all the time, Jonah. Your budget is what's gonna tell you what's affordable. Again, I think it's good to get some answers from God, but if it's a matter of life and death, right? If I pass away, my wife being covered, I don't think God's gonna tell me no. I'm just being honest. I pray all the time. So I think biblically, it actually is going to make sense for you to have something to protect your wife, because last thing God wants is for you to screw over your wife because you don't get it set up. But if you want to pray about it, that's fine. I'll pray with you. But we do need to get something set up. The application only lasts for 24 hours once they start it. So if you can pray quick, let's pray right now and figure out what makes sense. And I've gotten that, guys. I go on with it. I've sold some, I've lost some, but I hate that one. That one's horrible.
That's probably the worst objection you could get.
It is.
That was great. Derek said, I sold my house years ago and I don't have a mortgage anymore and it's paid off.
I'll just be like, yeah, that's cool, man. So I'm assuming you have a house, right?
Yep.
Okay, and it's paid off. Like there's equity built in that house.
Yep.
Cool. Well, most people do, Jonah. I mean, you're married, so if something happens, you want your wife to keep the house or do you want her to sell it?
Still probably keep it.
Okay. Regardless if there's a loan or not, we want her to have money in your bank account. So it doesn't matter how much money you have, we want to ensure that she's got money coming to her. Because there's property taxes, there's still insurance on the home. You can't mitigate or decline those policies. You'll get in trouble if you don't have it. So this is still good coverage to have on the policy or on the house itself. So that way, God forbid you pass, she doesn't have to pull equity from the house or sell it. You want her to keep it. You don't want her to lose it.
All right. One more and then we'll wrap up here. Yeah, Caleb, just give me a quote. Just give me the numbers.
Yeah, I can give you numbers, but it's going to be based off of your health and age. Obviously, we do need to get this set up. So if you don't have 5 minutes right now, 10 minutes, then we can set up a later time. But it's a lot more complicated than me just throwing out numbers at you. I can't give you a actually structured number because everyone's different, Jonah. 25-year-old down the street might have, HIV and AIDS, and he's going to be a lot more expensive than you. So I've got to get some basic information from you first to make sure that it's a fit, and then we'll get you the numbers you need.
Actually, I lied. One more. We got to go over this one. I just asked my insurance agent about this. He said to talk to him first before I made any decisions.
Got it. Okay. Does he have anything to do with your house?
Well, he sets up all my insurance policies.
Okay.
I've been working with him for 20 years.
And he's never set your mortgage protection up with you?
Well, I've never talked to him about it.
Probably because he can't, Jonah. He's not going to take care of the mortgage protection. I'm licensed directly through the state of North Carolina. So I am actually the one in the department who has got to take care of it with you. It's like your loan, right? Did you call your insurance agent for the loan or did you call the lender?
I called the lender.
Yeah, it's because that's what the lender does, and that's not what the insurance agent does. Same thing here. Your insurance agent is not going to take care of the mortgage protection. That's going to be my job. And any questions or anything further when it comes to contact, it's going to be with me. I deal directly with the mortgage protection for the loan you got with Rocket Mortgage.
Boom. Guys, drop an emoji in the chat if that was the most fire objection handling you've heard. That was fire. And I can't if you want to write $700,000 in a year, you need to know the objections as well as Caleb Coombs just recited them. It is so important. If you guys like the base level thing, I go over this every Tuesday with every single new agent and all of your agents coming through the system. I say, hey, do not get on the phones until you have every single one of the objections memorized. The good news is there's less than 20 that we really get. It's really not that bad. You had to memorize a lot worse to even be here. I mean, you had to memorize a lot worse to get your insurance license of information. 98% of the information you don't use. You use objections a lot. Almost every single person that we call will give you an objection. So, dude, every single objection that I gave Caleb, he didn't stutter. He didn't hesitate. He didn't freeze up and just boom, acknowledge, move on, acknowledge, move on. So if you guys are, even if you guys have them down like 75%, like you're pretty confident, you kind of know whatever, but you freeze up or you fluctuate your tonality or anything, so you're gonna lose the client, you're gonna lose credibility, and you're gonna lose professionalism. So this is one of the most important things you guys can do is really having these down and just being extremely proficient in the objections. So with that being said, we're almost out of time, but Caleb, any closing words, brother? Close us out.
I would say something that helped me a ton was the idea of I know I was doing the right things when it comes to selling and selling at a high level. And when I really wanted to grow, because that's what most of us on this call are wanting to do, right? It's to grow, whether it's increasing production or team wise. You might be doing the right things, you're just doing way too little of it. And we've all heard it. That was probably what stuck with me the most last year and something that I heard. Because realistically, you all know what to do. We all hear the same things every morning huddle, every team call. It's just a matter of doing it. How did I learn my objections and my rebuttals? It wasn't by sitting in front of the mirror and talking to myself. It was by dialing and dialing more and dialing more every single day. The more people you talk to, the more objections you get, the more rebuttals you give eventually. There's no reason for you to have a paper or have any kind of script. So it's just a matter of actually knowing your stuff. And if you're doing the right thing and you're making sales, great. Now you just need to increase your activity, and that's how you're going to grow. And I've learned that that's the right way because now we can train agents and they're profitable and they're making money. And if they're not making as much as they want to, I just tell them, look, work more. Half the time it's just because we're not working enough.
Go to work. 99% of your problems will go away by just simply going to work. So awesome. Well, Caleb, thank you. Thank you for hopping on and pouring in the team today.
Of course, bro. Appreciate you having me on.
Let's make it a good week, boys. Talk soon.